This is a string of length L, mass M hanging this way, and the lowermost bob is given a velocity of u. The question asked is, what is the minimum velocity I should give to the bob at the lowermost point so that it completes at least one circle? When it completes one circle, in the sense it should reach the highest point to complete one circle, to complete at least one circle. For something to stay in a circular path, there should be an external force which provides the required centripetal force. There should be an external force which provides the required centripetal force. At the highest point, here tension and mg both together will provide the required centripetal force.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For me to make sure that it completes the circle, the tension should not become zero before it reaches the highest point. If the tension becomes zero somewhere in between, it will not complete the circle, it will leave the circular track.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So the tension must not become zero till it reaches the highest point. If the tension becomes zero somewhere here, it will leave the circular track. The string will slacken and it will leave the circular track. Maybe it will come back into the track somewhere here. We don't mind, but it will leave the circular track.
Yes, sir.
Hence, tension should be greater than or equal to zero at the highest point.
Yes, sir.
That means I'll write mg is equal to mg square by L. That means P is equal to root over of GL. This should be the velocity at the highest point for it to complete the circle. If that is the velocity at the highest point, what is the total velocity I should give it the lowest point for it to complete a circle? Total mechanical energy here and here can be equated. Call this point A and point B. Total mechanical energy at point B is equal to total mechanical energy at point A. Now, when can we conserve total mechanical energy? If you remember work energy theorem, work done by conservative plus work done by non-conservative plus work done by external force is change in kinetic energy.
Yes, sir.
Now, we said work done by conservative was minus of delta P. Work done by non-conservative plus work done by external is delta T and E. We told you total mechanical energy can be conserved when non-conservative and external forces sum of both will be zero. Total mechanical energy can be conserved when non-conservative and external forces both of them are zero. When these both will be zero here, delta TME will be zero. That means total mechanical energy initial will be equal to total mechanical energy final. Now total mechanical energy initial and final when both of them are equal, that is when non-conservative and external forces do not do any work. Now conservative is mg, external force is tension, but work done by tension will always be zero because it is in a circular track. Velocity is perpendicular to t. In a circular motion, work done by the centripetal force will always be zero. Whichever force is acting towards the center, that will always be perpendicular to the displacement.
Yes.
So this tension being perpendicular to V, work done by the external force is zero. There is no non-conservative force. Hence total mechanical energy is conserved. Total mechanical energy at P will be half mv square plus mg into 2L. I took kinetic energy plus potential energy. That means I am taking the lowermost line as the reference line for gravitational potential energy. Total mechanical energy at A will be half mu square plus 0. I am taking the gravitational potential energy here to be 0. That's the reason why this is 12. And the velocity at the highest point, I got this velocity for which the body completes at least one circle. That velocity, when I substitute here, cancelling out m, this will be GL. by 2 is equal to 2gl plus 2gl is equal to u square. Multiply all throughout by 2. This u square by 2 will go, this will become 4. This b will be gl plus 4gl. Now u will be equal to root over of 5gl. This is the minimum velocity I should give at the lowest point so that it completes at least one circle. Minimum velocity to be given at the lowest point so that it completes at least one circle. And what is the definition of completing one circle? The tension should not become zero till it reaches the highest point. The tension becomes zero somewhere here, it will leave the circular track. But if the tension doesn't become zero till it reaches the highest point, from there by virtue of this velocity it will start going about in the circular track and it will complete the track.
Yes, sir.
What if the velocity is lesser than root over of 5gl? The velocity is lesser than root over of 5gl. First point. U is lesser than root over of 5gl. There are two things that can happen here. Either the tension becomes zero or the velocity becomes zero. For me, as this is going up, at some place the tension of the body can become zero or the velocity of the body can become zero. Tension in the string, if it becomes zero, it will leave the circular track. Velocity becomes zero without the tension becoming zero. Till when the tension is positive, it will remain in the circular track, but it will come to rest and it will come back. Like a simple pendulum oscillating.
Yes,
So if the simple pendulum is oscillating, the tension in the string doesn't become zero, but the velocity becomes zero at some point. So firstly, let me write this down. I projected this with a velocity of u lesser than root over of 5gl is the condition that I am analyzing. So say at some particular instant, I am interested in this height. This will be mg cos theta. So my equation will be tension minus mg cos theta is equal to mv square by L. Second, conserve the total energy here and here. The initial energy is U. Half mu square will be equal to the velocity here is V. Half mv square plus mg h. This particular height is h. The vertical height h will be, if this value is taken as theta, the total length is L, this length is L cos theta. L into 1 minus cos theta will be the height by which it moved up. Right? So this is my first equation. This V is the velocity at this particular point. This V is the velocity here. Right? Keep it as V if not properly. Right? The initial velocity you have given is U. The kinetic energy here is half mv square. The height to which it goes is h. Now I am interested to find out at what height will the velocity become zero and at what height will the tension become zero. Which will happen first. And depending on that we will analyze the motion in a vertical circle. Fine. Now let us simplify this. When I get this, v square is equal to u square minus 2gh. This will be my second equation.
yes, sir.
Right? Now substitute this v in the first equation. I'll get the tension minus mg cos theta. Cos theta will be, this height will be L minus h. That height will be L minus h. Cos theta, I am using this first equation. L minus h by L is equal to m by L. V square is u square minus 2gh. Even before that, one second, have a look at this. I am interested to know the height at which the velocity becomes zero. Height at which velocity becomes zero. If the velocity should become zero, in the second equation I am putting zero. This is u square minus 2gh. h1 is u square by 2g. This is the height at which the velocity becomes zero.
Yes, sir.
Then we are interested to know the height at which the tension becomes zero. The first point. Second point, find the height at which the tension becomes zero. Now in this equation I will put tension equal to zero. I will get the height at which the tension becomes zero. Is that making sense? Height at which tension becomes zero. Substitute here, tension is equal to 0 minus mg into 1 minus h by L is equal to m by L into u square minus 2gh. Did I go right with the sign? E square is equal to u square minus 2gh. Fair enough. Right, because I'm getting a negative sign here. Let me see. Cancelling out this. Now if I put L minus H divided by L, even the L gets cancelled out. You will get minus GL plus GH is equal to U square minus 2GH. So this will be 3GH is equal to U square plus GL. Bring this 3G to the denominator. This is the height at which the tension becomes zero. These are the two things that can happen. See what I have done. First equation I have written tension minus mg cos theta to provide the centripetal force. Second equation I conserved the total mechanical energy at these 2 points. Total kinetic energy will be kinetic plus potential here. I used this equation to find out the height at which velocity becomes zero. Then I substituted for cos theta in this equation, and V from this equation here I got this relation. I used this equation to find out the height at which tension becomes zero. That is what I have done till here.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear till here? So you know if the velocity is lesser than root over of 5dl, because for root over of 5dl, what was the condition I incorporated? I said for it to complete a circle, the velocity I give at the lowermost point is root over of 5dl, implies the tension should not become zero till I reach the uppermost point. That was the condition you incorporated.
Yes, sir.
So if the velocity at the lowermost point is lesser than root over of 5dl, then there is a possibility that the tension becomes zero somewhere in between. So at what height do you think the tension will become zero? At this height. At what height do you think the velocity will become zero? At this height. Now you are interested to know which will happen first. If velocity becomes zero before tension, what is the condition you are applying? If velocity becomes zero before tension, that means this height h1 should be lesser than h2.
Yes, sir. Yes,
That
sir.
should be first rate. h1 is lesser than h2. Implies u square by 2g is lesser than u square plus gl upon 3g. Now g gets cancelled. 3u square is lesser than 2u square plus 2gl. U square is lesser than, u is lesser than under root 2gl. If the initial velocity I gave is lesser than root over of 2gl, then for you velocity becomes zero before tension. But remember, you are yet with the condition lesser than root over of 5gl. So if tension becomes zero before velocity, that means h2 should be lesser than h1. This is the height at which tension becomes zero. This is the height at which velocity becomes zero. Let h2 be lesser than h1. h2 be lesser than h1. If h2 is lesser than h1, the same condition inequality will change. U should be greater than root over of 2gl.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, finally what have we concluded? The three conditions. Lowermost point, you give me velocity root over of 5gl, tension will become zero when the bob is at the highest point. You give me velocity lesser than root over of 2gl, then tension will never become zero, velocity becomes zero before tension. You give greater than root over of 2gl but lesser than root over of 5gl, then for you tension becomes zero before the velocity. Now what is the significance of 2gl? If I give a velocity of 2gl, the bob will come exactly to this particular point. I'll analyze that, but I need the board. Take it down till here. We will analyze the situation further. What if the u I give is root over of 2gl at the lowest point? Then to what height will it go? Half mu square will be equal to half mv square plus, I am interested to know to what height will it go. Height to which it goes will be. Why are you interested in this parameter of only root over of 2gl? Because there I have got u less than root over of 2gl, u greater than root over of 2gl. I should analyze the situation further. So what if I give root over of 2gl velocity at the lowermost point, root over of 2gl, total energy, I would like to know to what height will it go. 2gl by 2 is gh, h is equal to l. That means it will be coming exactly to the horizontal position. So what does your analysis tell you in the first place? You told me if u is greater than root over of 5gl, it will complete a circle. Greater than root over of 5gl, it will complete a circle. Right? Completes a circle. That means when it comes to the uppermost point, I will have v root over of gl. Its velocity there will be root over of gl and it will complete a circle. What if I give velocity lesser than u lesser than root over of 5gl but greater than root over of 2gl? You told me in this analysis that the tension becomes zero before the velocity. The last but one thing that you have written, if u is greater than root over of 2gl, then tension becomes zero before velocity. This was what you have written. And then you are telling me, if I give root over of 2gl, it will come to the horizontal position. Greater than root over of 2gl means you will come into this quadrant.
Yes.
You are less than root over of 5gl. So here it will not be passing through the circular path, but it is greater than root over of 2gl, so it will cross this particular point. And you are telling me that for this velocity the tension becomes zero first. So the tension becomes zero somewhere here. When the tension becomes zero here, it leaves the circular track. It will go about in a projectile motion this way. How do I get the further calculations for this? The further calculations will come this way. Conserve the total energy here and here. I gave a velocity of u here and this will be v, right? So this will be v and this will be u. This will be theta. This will be u, this will be v, this will be theta. I would like to know with what velocity it is leaving the circular track. See the path followed. It will not go about in a proper circle. Right? It will be a projectile motion. It may come back into the circular track somewhere. Here is a different aspect. But it will be leaving the circular track.
Yes.
And conserve the total energy here and here. You will get the value of theta and v. Once I know theta and v, the problem will become a normal projectile motion because this is motion in a vertical circle. I should know the angle with which it is projected and the velocity v. You can deal with projectile motion as it is. But suppose if the velocity at the lowermost point is less than root over of 2gl, now obviously it will not reach this particular point. It will come somewhere here and the velocity becomes zero. But the tension doesn't become zero. Because the tension doesn't become zero, it will be going about in a simple pendulum this way. It will be oscillating in the lower track. So the velocity will be equal to zero. But then what told you that it will be in this particular track? You are giving a velocity less than root over of 2gl. If I give root over of 2gl, it will come to this particular point. Less than root over of 2gl, it will remain in these two quadrants. Velocity becomes zero, but it will be oscillating like a simple pendulum. Tension will not be equal to zero, but velocity will become zero. This is the analysis of what we have done till now. Is the logic very clear to all?
Yes, sir.
I give at the lowermost point under root 5gl, it will complete a circle. Under root 2gl, it will come to the horizontal position. Greater than root over of 2gl but lesser than root over of 5gl, it will come till here and then it will leave the circular track and go in a projectile motion. How do you want me to calculate that velocity and theta? Conserve the total energy here and here. so that I can deal with the projectile motion. Give velocity lesser than root over of 2gl. It will not reach the horizontal position. It will come somewhere till here and it will oscillate like a simple pendulum. This is the complete analysis of motion in a mechanical circle. Write down a problem. For a simple pendulum of mass m and length L, if the velocity given at the lowermost point is under root 4gl, find the maximum height to which it goes. Now the first thing that we need to analyze in such type of problems is, you are given u is equal to root over of 4gl, implies u is lesser than root over of 5gl. So 100% first thing will not complete a circle. But this velocity is greater than root over of 2gl. The velocity you are giving at the lowermost point is greater than root over of 2gl. So it will come somewhere here.
Yes.
Will come somewhere into this particular quadrant, and I will have to find out the velocity and the angle which it makes so that I can deal with the projectile motion. To deal with this projectile motion, see, this is V. So it will go about in a projectile motion this way into it. Now watch out for this. This is the circle. It will leave the circular track here and it will go in a projectile motion. So what will be the maximum height means, if I take the velocity here, if I get the velocity here in theta, then I can go about for the maximum height. If that is theta, 90 minus theta, this will be theta. So this will be theta and this will be L. This is theta, 90 minus theta, this will be theta. My projectile motion problem will be done. So the velocity given is root over of 4gl. First point, I understand it will not complete a circle. Second point, what will happen first? Will the tension become zero or the velocity become zero?
Tension becomes zero.
Tension becomes zero first. So my first equation here is T. T plus mg. Now have a look at it. This will be T and this will be mg. This is theta, this is theta, this will be theta. So I can say T plus mg cos theta will be equal to mv square by L. Tension becomes zero here. Right? So my first equation is V is root over of gl cos theta. This is the velocity at this particular point. Point at which the tension became zero is what I calculated. Now conserve the total energy here and here. You are conserving the total energy here. This is U and that is V. Now initial energy is half mu square. The final energy there is half mv square plus mg L into 1 plus cos theta. See, because this is L and this is L cos theta. This is L and that is L cos theta, the height. Hence, m gets cancelled out. U square is equal to gl cos theta plus gl into 1 plus cos theta. Whatever I have done, I have substituted this v here and multiplied all throughout by 2. U square is equal to 2gl cos theta. This is 4gl cos theta plus 2gl. 3gl cos theta. This is 3gl because this is 2gl cos theta plus gl cos theta. Right? This will be the relationship between velocity. Remaining is simplification. I substituted u equal to root over of 4gl. I got this cos theta and v. Why are you interested in cos theta? And once I got the value of cos theta, I substituted here and got the value of v. You understood till here? Here the tension is greater than or equal to 0 condition. Sorry, the tension should be equal to 0 here. You found out the velocity when the tension becomes 0. Now using that velocity, you conserve the total energy here and here. Here the energy was half mu square. This was half mv square plus the gravitational potential energy. Gravitational potential energy, this is L and this is L cos theta. Right? Kinetic energy plus potential energy at this point. Kinetic energy at the lowermost point. I simplified this. Instead of V, I substituted this quantity, the velocity at that point. And then I opened up the brackets. I got this. u, the velocity given at the lowermost point is under root 4gl. Substituted, I got the value of cos theta. And then this cos theta I substituted here, I got the value of the velocity. Why are you interested in the velocity and cos theta? Reason being, now if I know v and theta, can I deal with this as a projectile motion and find out h maximum?
Yes, sir.
With projectile motion, I know the formula for h maximum. Once I know the formula for h maximum, remember h maximum plus L cos theta plus L is the maximum height to which it goes.
Yes, sir.
H maximum plus L cos theta plus L, add all the three, that's the maximum height to which it has gone. And for sure that will be lesser than 2L.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 50 by 27.
Right, you are supposed to add L plus L cos theta plus H maximum. L plus L cos theta value is known to you.
2 by 3. 2 by 3.
Right, and what will H maximum from the projectile motion be? V square sin square theta by 2g. V square sin square theta by 2g. V is the velocity of the projection. You know V, you know cos theta. Substitute, you get the answer. This is a hemispherical smooth surface. Body of mass m. This is fixed. Smooth surface is released from here with initial velocity 0. Slightly displaced and released. Slightly displaced and released with initial velocity 0. Find the angle at which small m leaves contact with the surface. Find the angle at which small m leaves contact with the surface.
Cos theta is 2 by 3. Cos theta is 1 by 3.
2 by 3, right? Because this will be normal force and this will be mg, this will be theta. You will write mg cos theta minus n is equal to mv square by r. N should be 0. Second equation, loss in potential energy, mg r into 1 minus cos theta is equal to half m v square. Solve both of them, you will get the value of theta at which the body loses contact with the surface. All of you have the book HCV with you. Page 136, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58. Look out for this. 54th problem. How many of you could not solve this? Raise your hands. 54th problem. People who could not solve it, raise your hands. All of you have done it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
55th problem. Block of mass m pushed against a spring of spring constant K fixed at the left end and then released. Find the initial compression of the spring so that the block presses the track with a force of mg when it reaches the point P, where the radius of the track is horizontal. One information that you will require here is half kx square is the potential energy stored in a spring when it is compressed, which we will derive once we just start work energy theorem after completing. Are you people aware of this formula?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So when you are pressing it this way, when you are pressing it, you compressed it by a distance of x, half kx square will go into half mu square. The velocity I give at this particular point, instead of directly telling you what velocity I have given, he has slightly converted that into half kx square. Right? Kx square is equal to mu square. U is x root over of k by m. This is the velocity I have here. Now he is telling you when the block comes to this particular point, the force with which it will press the surface is equal to mg, if I am right.
Yes, sir.
Presses the track with a force of mg. So this is n. So n is equal to mv square by r, and he is telling me n is equal to mg. So mg is equal to mv square by r. So V is root over of GR. Now this is the velocity at this particular point for which the normal force will be mg. Now I know the total initial energy. I know the total energy here. Conserve the energies at both the points. Now here what will be the potential energy? The height is r. So its kinetic energy is V. Total mechanical energy here is half mv square plus mgr, where V will be root over of gr. This is the total mechanical energy here, equated to half m u square. The total kinetic energy here. U is this quantity. Substitute this quantity here, you will get the value of x there. The next 56. Bob of stationary pendulum, sharp hit, horizontal velocity under root 3gl, angle rotated by the string before it becomes slack. You gave a velocity of root over of 3gl. L u root over of 3gl. Now this u is lesser than root over of 5gl, greater than root over of 2gl. That means it will come into this quadrant. This is v. This will be theta. This will be theta. Right? He is asking you the angle rotated by the string before it slackens. That means he is asking you for this angle. Pi minus theta is his requirement. We have done this problem with root over of 4gl. Now he is asking root over of 2gl, 3gl. The same problem. Find out t here. This will be mg. This will be theta. T plus mg cos theta will be equal to mv square by L. We know that once it has crossed the horizontal point and gone into this quadrant, velocity will not become zero, tension will become zero before velocity. We are aware of this, yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now here cancelling out m, v will be root over of gl cos theta. Second, conservation of total mechanical energy. Half mu square will be equal to half mv square plus mgl into 1 plus cos theta. Because at this height, this length is L, this length is L cos theta. That will be the gravitational potential energy. Now u square was 3gl. I multiplied all throughout by 2. This will be v square is gl cos theta plus 2gl into 1 plus cos theta. From this equation find out cos theta, but remember your requirement is not theta, your requirement is pi minus theta, angle by which it rotated before the string becomes slack. What do you mean by string becoming slack? The tension should become zero. 57th question is exactly on the same parallel track of what we have done for under root 4gl. Only thing he has given you a value. He is asking you at what value will it be? Will the theta become zero? What is the maximum height to which it goes? Exactly the problem which we have done for under root 4gl. The only difference is here numerical values are given.
Yes, sir.
I expect all of you to solve 57. Somebody is stuck up with 57. I'll give you 1 or 2 more minutes to complete that. Maximum height reached by the particle over the point of suspension means once you know the angle at which it becomes it slackens, from there you will deal with the projectile motion. Whenever such velocities are given, first verify if the velocity given at the lowermost point is greater than root 2gl or lesser than root 2gl. Only if it is greater than under root 2gl, it will cross this point and come here. Somewhere here it will leave the track and go about in a projectile motion. So can I presume all of you are done with 57th?
Yes, sir.
58. Have a look at what he is doing. There is a peg here. You are releasing it from here. First of all, calculate. When the bob comes here, this height, this is L and this total, this may be X. The total length will be L cos theta. H is equal to L into 1 minus cos theta. So when I am releasing it from here and there is a peg, it is more like this. There is a string here, there is a peg here this way. There is a string hanging from here and there is a peg here. The string is released from this position. As it is coming, the string comes and hereafter till here the string will remain straight. Thereafter only the lower part will swing and the upper part will remain straight. Are you able to visualize this?
Yes, sir.
So now I will find out the velocity with which it comes here. mg L into 1 minus cos theta is the loss in potential energy equated to half mu square. U is root over of 2gl into 1 minus cos theta.
Yes, sir.
Now this problem is converted into a system where I will have it bob like this. This length is L minus x and the velocity given is root over of 2gl into 1 minus cos theta. This is the velocity, this is the length of the string. Length of the string is L minus x. Now everything is the same as that of motion in a vertical circle. You wanted to complete a circle, verify if this velocity is equal to root over of 5g L minus x. If this velocity is equal to root over of 5g L minus x, it will complete a circle. If it is lesser than root over of 5g, the parameters will be u should be greater than root over of 5g into L minus x to complete a circle. If u is lesser than root over of 5g into L minus x, verify if it is greater than root over of 2g into L minus x, then it will come into this quadrant and the tension will become 0. By chance if u is lesser than root over of 2g into L minus x, then it will remain somewhere here and it will keep oscillating this way. Is the explanation clear to all?
Yes, sir.
The velocity it will acquire at the lowermost point is this, and once it touches the peg, thereafter effectively the pendulum will become of length L minus x, and this being the initial velocity. The upper part of it will be ineffective thereafter. It will go in accordance with this particular knob here, the peg. Fine with this? Now listen, back to work energy theorem. The very first thing that we deal with work energy theorem after introduction of work done by conservative, non-conservative external forces is, firstly, let us calculate the potential energy stored in a spring. You told me work done by conservative plus work done by non-conservative plus work done by external force is change in, and work done by conservative was minus of delta P. This was the definition. Remember, spring force is also a conservative force. Spring force is also a conservative force. It will depend purely on the initial and final positions. Consider a spring mass system this way. This is small m and this is k. What is k? Spring constant.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Suppose I have displaced it by a distance of x naught or x. I have already displaced it by a distance of x. I further want to stretch it by a distance of dx. I further want to stretch it by a distance of dx, for which I should put up an external force of F external. Now remember, to calculate the potential energy stored in the spring, either I will have to calculate the work done by the conservative force, call the spring force and put a negative sign, or there is no non-conservative force in this case. Non-conservative force is 0 and change in kinetic energy is 0. Why is the change in kinetic energy is 0? I am pulling it slowly. The technical word is slowly, so that the change in kinetic energy is 0. When I am pulling it very slowly, obviously the external force I apply should be equal to kx in the opposite direction. Only if I am pulling it slowly, F external will be equal to kx, so that I can consider net total force on it to be 0, so that it is moving with uniform velocity. When it is moving with uniform velocity, change in kinetic energy is 0. Yes or no? Yes. Under those circumstances, your equation will become, either calculate the work done by conservative force, put a negative sign, with a negative sign, gives us the potential energy stored, or have a look at the other way around. Work done by the external force if I calculate, Work done by the external force will be minus of work done by conservative from this equation. This is 0, this is 0. If I take this to the other side, now this will be equal to delta P. So either you calculate the work done by the conservative force and put a negative sign to get the potential energy, or calculate the work done by the external force in this particular case. Only in this particular case it is so, because work done by non-conservative and change in kinetic energy is 0. So if I calculate the work done by the external force, I am done with it. Whatever is the work done by the external force will be stored in the form of potential energy. So now I am calculating the work done by the external force. This will be F external dot dx. Both of them are in the same direction. Dx is in this direction, external force is in this direction. How much external force did you apply? It will be equal to kx dot dx. Why kx dot dx? I should make this move with uniform velocity. When it is moving with uniform velocity, external force should be equal to kx. So net total work done dW will be equal to F external K integral x dx. What have you done? You have calculated the work done in moving it by a very small distance dx. If I add up all such type of works done to go from x initial to x final, initial elongation is x initial, final elongation is x final, I will get the total change in potential energy. Now this will be the potential energy stored in it, half K x final square minus x initial square. If ever if x initial is equal to 0, that means you are stretching the spring from the unstretched position. You are stretching the spring from the unstretched position. Then the potential energy stored is half kx square. There will be only one elongation, that's the final elongation in the spring. Hence, potential energy stored in a spring is defined as half kx square. X is the elongation in the spring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Quick.